We all love fairy tales. Oh yes, we do. Indeed, we're entertained while the story is explained. But imagine for a moment if it was to become true.
Let's start at the beginning. What is CNI? For those who are experienced, let's have a recap while setting the scene for those who have just joined in our battle against e-crime in the CNI world. Critical national infrastructure consists of the following: electricity, oil, gas supplies, and nuclear facilities, clean running water, telecommunications, the internet, TV broadcasting, transport, finance, banks, financial markets, payment infrastructure, hospitals, medical services, emergency services such as police, fire and rescue, ambulances, the HM Coast Guard, food suppliers, not to forget satellites, and military infrastructure. It isn't just the places we work in. Let's not isolate ourselves anymore. We are interconnected, physically, and we are also logical neurons on the same planet. And whatever impacts anything in CNI will eventually impact us all. Times have changed and data is now the river that flows and feeds us. It is what our society is now built upon. It allows things to run the best way possible, allowing us to work, rest and play. It is our duty and our right to protect data and therefore our world. Some of the experiences I'm about to share with you are not only applicable to my life and where I have been, they can also be applicable to anyone and anywhere. The lesson here is to improve on governance of our most important asset, the people, you and I, in CNI.
In the new world, we called it the Dragon. My parents' generation used to call it e-crime, but as time evolved, things became worse. My father used to tell me stories about how it took down large corporations and businesses, and worst of all, critical national infrastructure.
Airports, energy suppliers, and emergency services. Everything. Some say it was revenge, some say it was bitterness, and others say it was the only way we could survive and eat what was left from Earth. It has no face, no sound. It disguises its voice in human form. We uncovered it again, using voice changes and underground channels, like security and death, almost. It makes me laugh about how genius it is. There was always a way to defeat it. It was simple, and yet so hard. Unimaginable. Unimaginable.
I'm not sure about the time.
Yeah.
Hello. There, Todd, sorry to disturb you.
Yeah, morning Simeon, how you doing? It's a bit early, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, I know, I'm sorry about that. We've just received alerts that one of the power stations have gone offline, and we're getting calls on our mobiles that says that basically, you know, no one in the station has got any lights or anything. It's totally blacked out.
Oh, what? You're joking, mate. Are you sure about that? Have you checked the news? You know, someone might be winding you up, mate. Sorry, darling, but I've got to take this call. Sim, you'll have to open up a tech bridge, get one of the engineers on site to see what's happened and call me, and share the contact detail list immediately.
Okay, that's the other thing. We haven't got one, we haven't got the contact list. It was in the backlog to-do list. The other thing is the backup power generators don't look like they've been tested, and they also kicked in. I don't know what's going on, Todd. Sorry, mate.
For God's sake.
Todd, the local services like police, ambulances and fire rangers are also unreachable. It's not looking good. I often think of my career as a journey. At times, it's tough. Sometimes I get the chance to reflect, though not always. Regardless of the moment, the game never changes. It doesn't stop. There are always good guys, bad guys, risks, threats, and gatekeepers. They're the vulnerabilities. This is the world we live in. And this is still my passion. In this journey, I fought in what I call the trenches. I started as a soldier, a grunt. I didn't fully understand what I was doing at times, but I knew what had to be done. I made mistakes. I had quick wins and long battles. I gained experience. I learned who I was, what my role was, and what responsibilities I carried. I hid when I needed to. I recouped. I battled on. I stayed connected with my peers and tried to bring people together. But sometimes I wondered if others saw things the same way. It didn't always feel like those higher up were in full control. Some had jobs, while others did jobs. Who is the tailor? Your enforcer? Your internal threat? In this context, the internal threat isn't necessarily malicious. Sometimes it's simply a misplacement of ethics. And no, I'm not just talking about the spy. Tinker, tailor, soldier, spy, which one are you? Tinker is the head of the team, the department, the organization. He's trusted because he's the leader. Things seem to be going well. People are getting paid. The usual politics and hierarchies are in place, often covering up the negatives. As humans, we try to reduce confusion and get along, but it doesn't always work that way. Tinker seems okay, but is he? Is he trusted to lead with ethics, fairness and integrity? Is he facing adversarial challenges he's keeping to himself? Will he fulfill his role? Does he need support? Who supports him? What happens if Tinker fails? Is he respected? Is he heard? What if Tinker is the threat. Taylor. Taylor is Tinker's right hand, the go-between. You might call him a manager, a negotiator, a bridge between leadership and the team. He's respected, is responsible for managing the soldiers. Unlike Tinker, Taylor sees the operations up close. He understands the risks, the impacts, the vulnerabilities. He has more visibility than most realize, and he has Tinker's ear. Taylor seems okay, but is he? Is he trusted to lead with integrity? Is he facing hidden pressures? Will he fulfill his role? Does he need support? Who supports him? What happens if Taylor fails? Is he respected? Is he heard? What if Taylor is the threat? Soldier. Soldier is the executor. He follows orders from Taylor, whom he trusts. He has access to everything. He sees everything. He's the one everyone relies on to carry out the mission, to execute the tasks. That makes him the most dangerous of the four. Or does it? In this round table is a hierarchy. But maybe those boundaries should be removed. We're not enemies. After all, we're people. So what governs this group? What ensures accountability? Who's watching everyone else? And what are they doing with the information they gather? This brings us on to Spy. Spy is the most intriguing of them all. He isn't just one person or an individual. He could be any one of the characters I've described. Spy is the vulnerability, the risk, the threat, depending on whose side he's on. He doesn't always act with malicious intent, but he uses information to his advantage, serving whatever purpose he chooses. In our world, we also call him the gatekeeper.
I decided to call this part of the presentation Sleeping with the Enemy. It has little to do with the film, with starring Julia Roberts. This is about addressing the internal threats, the gatekeeper and the inexperienced decision maker. can be seen as malicious or innocent, which is more suited to the latter. In my experience, I came across many gatekeepers. A lot of them were friends of people in high places. Some were only interested in themselves instead of the organization and their goals, and they were placed in positions of authority. Ooh. To me, that is a threat in a sense that they may or may not know their motivations and are not in the best place for leadership. I'll give you an example. I worked in a place where there was an underlying issue which prevented people working remotely. Everyone had to come to work, even if it was by helicopter, hand gliding in through a window. It didn't matter. Some even tried to blow the office up to get inside. Just kidding. I was a new starter there with network security experiencing and good at identifying root causes quite quickly. If I must say so myself, and I am, because I must. People needed to work from home and it was an issue. There were two issues, a gatekeeper and the culture. The gatekeeper absolutely refused my offer to investigate the fault. I was repeatedly told, "We are very risk-averse here and don't want any issues." I tried to explain that I had a background in networks, which is partly why I was taken on, and that it was only to perform a visual inspection of configurations, etc. Other members of staff followed what the gatekeeper said and were accountable for ensuring network connectivity, disaster recovery, etc. were maintained and prepared for the worst events. Your risk profile should include this, as we know. One gracious morning, I managed to social engineer an individual who was friendly and not very confident to show me the configuration. They gave me access too. It should have been read-only. Within 2 minutes, with the help of another person who was fed up and available for testing connectivity, agreed to resolve this monster of an issue which was quite a hindrance to the organization for almost 3 years. I logged on. I saw what the problem was. Understood the risk. Mitigated the risks to not impact production, route configurations, scripts, etc. and voila, they were able to connect. This was 1 week before lockdown too. Can you believe it? This is a prime example of a lack of compliance with governing people to address risk. The lack of governance worked in my favor. Everyone was in shock. Some were angry. Some were very grateful. And the gatekeeper came to kick.
The enemy here was the gatekeeper, whether intentionally or non-intentionally, working single-handed or part of its larger campaign. He was the threat actor, holding the negative risk, giving a potential enemy the upper hand. An infiltrator would simply launch a DDoS attack to stop all operations, with no secondary route allowed into the domain. The group of people I described here were asleep, comfortably, in the arms of the enemy.
It is almost impossible to transcend without a reason to do it, a passion to achieve the state or goal, control over how it is done. What is transcendence? It is a thriller that explores themes of artificial intelligence, consciousness, and the ethical boundaries of technology. Actually, it is reality in the new dawn, in the age of GRC.
I have spoken more about governance than its counterparts because it is the backbone. It is glue which keeps things together, and it must be improved while we work with AI.
And start to connect more with operational technology. In the IT world, we have people working on servers, networks, firewalls, SOCs. Individuals with their own unique lives and pressures, achievements, reasons for being at work, their positions, different positions in time and circumstances.
You have your tinker, tailor, soldier, and maybe a spy. An internal threat. In most cases, people are not governed or held accountable as a de facto standard. Like mentioned before, there are hindrances, like hierarchies, conflicts, loss of respect, the human condition. For a unit such as the ones we call organizations, companies, enterprises, this shouldn't exist. My mind often tells me the e-criminals could have more unification with one another than we do. And we're the good guys. Assets are governed more than people, but it is people that govern the assets, whilst they are not governed themselves. No matter how much you spend on the latest defenses, whilst not holding those responsible for mitigating risks, they defenses are to protect against, you're still at risk. You haven't addressed anything. All that has happened is you have spent time, money, and affected people again. Defenses should have at least a minimum of 3 years when it comes to longevity and facing zero attacks. Just detect an anomaly, isolate it, investigate it using people, and manage it effectively. It is quite simple. Now we are introducing AI. ISO IEC have a new standard for artificial intelligence management systems governing AI. Where's the one for us to make sure we are effective, transparent, and fair?
Artificial intelligence management systems. It governs AI. It should make sure that we are effective, transparent, and fair, or at least AI is. The standard is called ISO 42001. You have also combined standards for critical national infrastructure, which provide security in depth. It's not just the latest tech or the latest firewall, system, or app in the cloud. These are practices which will ensure we have a good foundation to work on. ISO IEC 27001 Information Security Management Systems. ISO IEC 27005 Information Security Risk Management. ISO IEC 62443 Security for Industrial Automation and Control Systems. ISO 22301 Business Continuity Management Systems. ISO 31000 Risk Management Guidelines. ISO 22316 Organizational Resilience. ISO IEC 27019 Information Security for Energy Utility Industries. ISO IEC 27002 Code of Practice for Information Security Controls. ISO 21384-2 UAS Operational Procedures. Out of the list, there is one that is specifically for humans that makes sure that all of the above are done effectively, with the risk of failure reduced to a bare minimum. Here it is. The international standard ISO 37000.
Remember the tailor? Remember the tailor.
Target eliminated.
In the silence before sunrise, a new force awakens. Not just light piercing the darkness, but a call to arms for every organization fighting to protect its people, its purpose, and its future. And CNI. A new dawn breaks, not just with light, but with hope. Hope for a world where technology evolves faster than ever, and the eternal battle between good and evil plays out in digital shadows, but good wins. In this world, every organization is a fortress, fighting not just for survival, but for the well-being of its people, within and beyond its walls. This is not just business, this is human nature. But let's be clear, no organization can thrive on innovation alone. The true foundation is people, unified, orchestrated, and driven by a force that transcends code and machines. It is the energy of collaboration, the heartbeat of achievement, the rhythm of survival. This new dawn demands a new kind of ally, an assistant that mirrors human merit, fairness, and transparency. Enter AI, not as a replacement, but as a partner. Governed by the wisdom of ISO IEC standards, this partnership becomes a symphony of logic and trust, tested and true. And with this dawn comes a shift in narrative. No longer are organizations merely victims of faceless attacks. Now they become champions of inclusion, welcoming people of all backgrounds and all identities. AI becomes a mirror, reflecting not just data, but our values, our potential, and our truths. Just as we assess candidates in interviews, we must assess ourselves. Onboarding is not the end. It is the beginning of a life cycle, an ongoing life cycle. Think, plan, do, check, act. Organizations must not just trust blindly. They must hold every individual accountable, from the boardroom to the break room. Risks must be addressed with the same precision we apply to our most critical projects for people. Let ISO 37000 be your compass. Let it guide your risk register, your change control, your governance. Start within. Know your people as well as your assets. Treat it like an e-crime discovery mission, an annual penetration test against your most valuable resource, the people. Because when accountability is clear, improvement follows. Even the spy, even the saboteur, they fear discovery, and rightly so. Sabotaging an IT environment with intent is not just unethical, it's a criminal offense. Together, we can win this battle. Let's rewrite the story. Let's enforce governance so strong that compliance becomes inevitable. The dawn is here. The battle is ours. And if unity, integrity, and relentless vigilance, we will not just survive, we will lead. My name is Christopher Fleur, aka V-Man. The platform is ours. The time is now.
Cortex 13.ai.
Cyber threats,
threats, you won't know what happens next. Cyber threats, you won't know what happens next.